What up, homies? Welcome back to FiIY with Fiona. So this week we are doing Urban Outfitters inspired DIYs. So last week we did Anthro inspired DIYs. So Urban Outfitters is a sister company to Anthropologie, and it's kind of like the younger, cooler, hipper version of Anthro. I decided to sit in front of my fridge today. It's got a collage of random things I've collected over the years, so I thought it was kind of Urban Outfitters feeling. All the DIYs we'll be doing are inspired by pieces that are on their website right now. So it's very on trend, and they're really easy to make, really inexpensive and budget friendly. Most of the supplies I bought off Amazon, Joann's, Michael's. So I'll link everything in the description below so you guys can get these supplies yourself as well. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below if you guys make any of these DIYs. I want to know exactly what you guys are enjoying and making. And also please consider subscribing as well. Alright, here are the DIYs. For project number 1, we are creating a beautiful brass ring wall hanging mirror and jewelry holder. You'll need a 7-inch diameter mirror, an 8-inch brass ring, 7 small wooden beads, gold spray paint, hot glue, and a piece of string for hanging. Grab your spray paint and wooden beads and spray your beads. Make sure you get an even coating all around. You may need to swirl the beads around several times to get the paint evenly covering all the beads. Let your beads dry and it's on to the next step. I glued my mirror to the edge of the brass ring by putting hot glue around 2 inches along the edge of the mirror. If you need extra support, you can use a stronger glue like an epoxy adhesive. Quickly grab your ring to glue it together before the hot glue cools. Then I glued my beads onto the bottom of the brass ring, starting in the middle and spacing out the beads around an inch apart. Flip your mirror over and hot glue a piece of string onto the back of the mirror to use to hang it on the wall. Since quarantine started, to save my sanity of being isolated home alone, I've been taking walks around my neighborhood and have discovered all these beautiful wildflowers around my neighborhood. I decided to pick them and do a DIY with them. There's really official, legit ways to press flowers, but one easy way is putting them in parchment paper and putting it in a thick book and stack some additional books on top. Make sure the petals are separated from each other when they dry, otherwise they may stick together. Grab your dried flowers in your frame. The Urban Outfitters pressed flower frames are made of wood, but I had a brass frame and decided I liked the look of it with the flowers. Choose what flowers will look good in your composition. I had these delicate pink flowers that I thought would look really pretty in the brass frame. I decided not to do anything too fancy and just laid them out in rows, and I think it turned out really elegant. Close up your frame and see how your composition looks. If you like it, you're done with project number 2. For project number 3, we will be adding some visual interest to a terracotta pot. I got this big terracotta pot for $2 at an estate sale. You'll need white acrylic paint and a paintbrush. I was inspired by this Urban Outfitters pot that had these interesting kind of trapezoid shapes, so I decided to recreate it on this pot. You can freehand this and just go with what feels right to you. I grabbed my paintbrush and brushed the pattern on with the white acrylic paint. You'll need to do a thick coat of the paint, so feel free to go over your lines until it's opaque. After I was finished painting the pattern, I needed to go over the paint again to fill in any gaps in areas that weren't as opaque. So I flipped the pot over to do this and realized it was much easier to have it tapered the other way. You live and you learn. So if you decide to paint a pattern like this, which is really easy to paint upside down, I'd suggest flipping your pot over and painting it this way. I've been seeing phases of the moon room decor everywhere at Urban Outfitters, so I decided to make this easy wall hanging with air dry clay. You'll also need black acrylic paint, paintbrushes, an X-Acto knife, and 5 differently sized circular products that you can use as a template. I grabbed random sized makeup products I could find in my makeup stash, and it was perfect for this project. Get your air dry modeling clay and start rolling it out to be around 1/4 inch thick. The air dry clay is great to use because you don't need to bake it and it's lightweight, so it won't be heavy to hang on your wall. I transferred my clay to a cutting board because I didn't want to cut my countertop. Start with your largest circular object and put it on top of the clay as a template and cut it out. You'll need one of the largest circle. Then for the other 4 sizes, you'll need to cut out 2 each. After you cut out each shape, use your hands to mold it a bit to make it more even. If there is one side of your circular product that is flatter than the other, I'd suggest putting that side on top of the clay. Once you have your 9 pieces cut out, leave it overnight to dry. Grab your black acrylic paint. We want to add some speckles to add more visual interest to the wall hanging. Mix a bit of acrylic paint with water to make it a more liquidy consistency. And using your fingers, start splattering the now dried clay pieces. Using regular acrylic paint, we'll start painting the moon phases on the circles. The smallest circles will be a new moon, which is a moon that is completely dark, so we'll paint it completely black. Make sure you get the edges too. The second smallest circles will be crescents, so we'll paint it mostly black, but leave a sliver of white that creates a crescent. For the next size up, we'll paint these circles half black. And for the second largest circles, we'll just paint a small bit of black on the circles. This is what your pieces will look like. Just wait for the paint to dry before the next step. I've laid the circles out in the order I want them to be in. The larger circle in the middle, getting progressively smaller on both sides. Make sure the circles are laid out the correct way you want them. I measured out 2 inches between each circle. Flip over all of your circles. Grab some cord, make sure it's not stretchy, and lay it over your clay pieces to measure out the length of it. Cut some extra so you can tie a knot at the end to use it to hang. Start hot gluing your cord to the clay. I found it was helpful to take my ruler along as I glued to make sure the pieces remained 2 inches apart. After you finish gluing your string to the last piece of clay, tie a knot and we'll use it to hang the wall decor. Alright, that's all the DIYs. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and if you did, please definitely give it a thumbs up and comment below if you make any of these DIYs yourself, and please definitely subscribe as well. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.